In the heart of a bustling city, where the hum of traffic and the chatter of pedestrians created a constant backdrop, there lived a woman named Clara. Clara had always dreamed of a life that intertwined her love for nature with her urban existence. She often found herself daydreaming about the idea of raising animals, particularly quails, in her small apartment. The thought of nurturing life, even in a limited space, ignited a spark of passion within her. With determination and a sprinkle of curiosity, she decided to embark on this unique journey. Clara began her adventure by conducting thorough research. She scoured the internet, devoured books on poultry farming, and joined online forums dedicated to quail enthusiasts. She learned that quails were not only small and manageable, but they also produced eggs and meat, making them a rewarding choice for urban farming. Their gentle coos and soft feathers painted a picture of serenity that contrasted sharply with the city's chaos. Clara found herself captivated by the idea of having her own little sanctuary, where she could nurture these delicate birds. The first step in her journey was to create a suitable habitat for her future quails. Clara's apartment was modest, but she was determined to make it work. She measured the available space, which was limited to a corner of her living room. After careful consideration, she decided that a spacious aviary-style cage would be ideal. She envisioned a two-tiered structure, allowing her quails to have ample room to roam, perch, and nest. Clara spent weekends visiting local hardware stores, gathering materials like wood, wire mesh, and plastic for the flooring. Each piece she selected was chosen with care, ensuring it would provide a safe and comfortable environment for her future feathered friends. As Clara built the cage, she felt a sense of accomplishment. The structure took shape, and soon it was ready for its inhabitants. She painted it in soft pastel colors, adding a touch of warmth to her living space. With the cage complete, Clara turned her attention to acquiring her quails. She reached out to local breeders and discovered that there were various breeds, each with its unique characteristics. After much deliberation, she settled on the Coturnix quail, known for its friendly demeanor and prolific egg-laying abilities. The day finally arrived when Clara brought home her first batch of quail chicks. They were tiny, fluffy balls of energy, and Clara's heart swelled with joy as she gently placed them in their new home. She watched as they explored their surroundings, their tiny beaks pecking at the ground and their little legs scurrying about. Clara felt an overwhelming sense of responsibility wash over her. She was now the caretaker of these delicate creatures, and she was determined to provide them with the best life possible. The initial weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Clara diligently researched the proper diet for her quails, ensuring they received a balanced mix of high-protein feed, grains, and fresh greens. She learned about the importance of hydration and made sure to provide clean water daily. Each morning, she would rise early, excited to check on her quails, refill their feeders, and clean their living space. It was a labor of love, and despite the challenges of balancing her job and her new responsibilities, Clara found joy in the routine. However, raising quails was not without its challenges. Clara quickly learned that these birds were sensitive to temperature fluctuations. The apartment's heating system could be unpredictable, and she found herself monitoring the temperature closely. On particularly cold nights, she would wrap the cage in blankets to keep her quails warm. There were also moments of worry when one of the chicks seemed lethargic. Clara's heart raced as she researched potential ailments, learning about common health issues that could affect her birds. She became adept at recognizing signs of distress and took immediate action when needed, often consulting with a veterinarian who specialized in avian care. As the weeks turned into months, Clara's quails grew, and so did her knowledge and confidence as a caretaker. She learned to identify each quail by its unique markings and personality traits. Some were more adventurous, often the first to explore new corners of the cage, while others preferred to stay close to the safety of their nesting boxes. Clara delighted in their antics, finding solace in their presence. She would sit for hours, watching them interact, their gentle coos creating a soothing soundtrack to her busy life. One of the most rewarding milestones came when Clara's quails began to lay eggs. The first time she discovered a tiny, speckled egg nestled in the bedding, a wave of pride washed over her. She had nurtured these birds from chicks to adulthood, and now they were providing her with sustenance. The excitement of collecting fresh eggs each day became a cherished ritual. Clara experimented with different recipes, incorporating the quail eggs into her meals, from delicate omelets to intricate pastries. She marveled at the rich flavor and the satisfaction of knowing she had raised the birds herself. As time went on, Clara faced new challenges. The quails were social creatures and needed companionship, so she decided to expand her flock. She researched the best practices for introducing new birds into an established group, ensuring a smooth transition. The process required patience and observation, as she carefully monitored interactions to prevent any territorial disputes. Clara learned the importance of providing enough space and resources for her growing flock, and she adjusted her setup accordingly. The rewards of raising quails extended beyond just the eggs. Clara found herself immersed in a community of fellow urban farmers. She connected with neighbors who shared her passion, exchanging tips and experiences. They would gather for informal meetups, sharing stories of their successes and challenges. Clara felt a sense of belonging, knowing she was part of a movement that embraced sustainable living and a connection to nature, even in the heart of the city. As her quail-raising journey continued, Clara began to explore the idea of breeding her birds. She learned about the intricacies of quail reproduction and the care required for chicks. The thought of hatching her own eggs filled her with excitement. Clara set up a small incubator, carefully monitoring temperature and humidity levels. When the day finally arrived and the first chick broke free from its shell, Clara was filled with awe. She had witnessed the miracle of life, a culmination of her efforts and dedication. However, the challenges of breeding were not to be underestimated. Clara faced moments of heartbreak when some eggs failed to hatch or when chicks didn't survive the critical early days. Each loss weighed heavily on her heart, but she learned to approach these setbacks with resilience. She reminded herself that raising animals was a journey filled with ups and downs, and each experience contributed to her growth as a caretaker. Through it all, Clara found that the act of raising quails had transformed her life in unexpected ways. She developed a deeper appreciation for the food she consumed, understanding the effort that went into producing it. The connection she forged with her quails taught her patience, compassion, and the importance of nurturing life. Her small corner of the city became a sanctuary, a place where she could escape the noise and chaos, finding solace in the gentle rhythms of her quail flock. As seasons changed and the years rolled by, Clara's quail-raising endeavor flourished. She became a knowledgeable resource for others interested in urban farming, often hosting workshops in her apartment to share her experiences. Neighbors who had once been skeptical of her venture now gathered to learn, inspired by her passion and dedication. Clara reveled in the opportunity to empower others to embrace the joys of raising their own food, even in small spaces. The challenges she faced along the way only served to deepen her resolve. When her quails experienced health issues, Clara became an advocate for proper care, educating herself and others about preventive measures. She collaborated with local veterinarians to provide resources for urban farmers, ensuring that every bird received the attention it deserved. Her commitment to her quails extended beyond her own flock, as she sought to create a supportive community for all who shared her passion. Eventually, Clara's small apartment became a hub of activity, filled with laughter, learning, and the soft sounds of quails. Friends and family would often visit, drawn in by the charm of her feathered companions. Clara took pride in sharing her journey, recounting the lessons she had learned along the way. She spoke of the importance of patience, the beauty of nurturing life, and the joy of connecting with nature, even in the heart of a concrete jungle. As she sat in her living room, surrounded by the gentle coos of her quails, Clara reflected on the journey that had brought her to this moment. She had transformed her small space into a thriving sanctuary, a testament to the power of passion and perseverance. Raising quails had not only enriched her life but had also created a ripple effect within her community. She had inspired others to embrace the idea of urban farming, reminding them that even in the smallest of spaces, there was room for growth, connection, and the nurturing of life. Clara's story was one of resilience, love, and the beauty of embracing challenges. Through her journey, she discovered that the rewards of raising quails extended far beyond the eggs they laid. It was about the connections forged, the lessons learned, and the joy of nurturing life in a world that often felt disconnected from nature. In her small corner of the city, Clara had created a thriving ecosystem, a reminder that even in the most unlikely of places, growth was possible.